Okay, pulling up the notes. Okay. Hey, what's up guys? It is Anthony. I am back with my first video. This is going to be the first part to my YouTube comeback. I already have a plan of like videos I want to do to come back, to officially bring myself to come back to YouTube. It's going to be a process. It's going to take a little bit. I'm just glad to be back because like I said in my recent video that I have so much creative juices, I just need somewhere to put them, so I'm back on YouTube. Whew. It's also going to take me a little while to get comfortable behind camera because it's been so long since I've actually sat in front of the camera and like filmed a video. I just actually got done filming what this video is about. I edited the whole thing, I did, yada yada you, but the audio was shit and I was like, I am not going to post shit quality videos to my YouTube channel. So I was like, you know what, even though I just spent 4 hours editing the shit out of this, I have to toss it and I have to re-record this video because I want the audio to be good. And this time I have my fan off, I have some coffee so I don't get nervous and freaking drift off like I did in the last million takes I did of this video. And I'm just gonna really try to keep myself composed and get through this video. I've been obsessed with true crime since I was little. I remember watching what's it called, 2020? I forgot what it's called. It's that one show that I think's on ABC or something. It might be Crime Watch. I don't know if that's it. But I've always been obsessed with everything that goes into true crime. The trials, the evidence, the suspects, everything, all of it. I've just been obsessed with it. And growing up, when I got my first tablet, that's the first technology I got, I would watch true crime videos on YouTube. And then when I got my first phone, I would start to get into Reddit and all these different, social medias that blog about true crime because, I couldn't get enough. I was so obsessed. So I thought the first video I have to do for my comeback has to be a true crime video. First of all, true crime YouTube is the best, and I would love to be a part of it. I don't know if that's the main thing my channel is going to focus around. I think I might dabble in it here and there. Overall, true crime YouTube is amazing. I love Kendall Rae. I love that one girl that does her makeup. Forgot her name. Starts with an S, I think. She's amazing. You gotta love them all. And then there's this one girl who has this British it might be Irish. She has red hair. She's really, really dope. I forgot her name. I might leave their links in the description, but as if that will do anything, I'm not even a big channel. But yeah, I wanted my first video back to be true crime because it would be a good foundation to start on this channel. I am gonna private all my other videos because I want this to just be my foundation that I grow on, because I want to look back at this video and be like, I used to be like that, that's how I used to be in my videos, that's what I want to look at. I don't want to look at my cringy videos I did last year or the year before, or even now. For future me, this might be cringy, which is okay. It's cringy for me now. But I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna get this video done, and it's gonna be good quality, I hope. I have my notes to the right of me. I have my coffee. I have my brain. I have everything I need to just get this video started. So, without further ado, let's talk about the Cheshire murders. This case actually takes place in Connecticut around 2007. It's quite an old case. It's not recent at all, but I still wanted to cover it because I've only seen 4 or 5 videos about it on YouTube. So I thought it would also be good to cover a case that not a lot of people have covered. It started off with a mom and daughter at a grocery store, and a man was watching them. Just thinking about that, it could happen to any of us. Which, I mean, you could say the same about any other true crime case, because a lot of them, you're just having a normal day and then bam, something happens. But this case, I don't know, it just shook something in me and I was like, okay, I have to talk about this because it needs to be talked about. Let's begin. Michelle Pettit was the youngest daughter of Dr. William Pettit and Jennifer Pettit. Her older sister Haley was 17 and had just graduated from Miss Porter's school, a very prestigious private school in Connecticut. She was set to then attend Dartmouth University to follow in her dad's footsteps and become a doctor. Haley was also an active fundraiser person, very much involved in school. She was one of those kids who did a lot of extracurricular activities, such as she was a fundraiser person. She did a lot of fundraisers, mainly for multiple sclerosis research. Now, the thing is, her mom actually ended up getting diagnosed with MS. And this basically changed everything for them. So Haley decided to do a fundraiser in hopes to like spread awareness about MS and research. Oh fuck, my battery's about to die. Fucking lovely. Fucking lovely. My battery is finally charged, so it's time to get right on with the video. My coffee's cold now, but that's beside the point. I just want to get this video done because honestly, I'm a bit tired because I literally spent so much time editing it, and now to redo it again, and then the battery dying, and then, you know, it's just a big disaster. It's like the universe doesn't want me to make this video, but I'm still gonna make it. Haley even captained a MS walk team called Haley's Hope, where she would like gather a bunch of people and they would go on walks to like raise money for like multiple sclerosis, because like I said, or I don't think I said that right, multiple sclerosis. Like I said earlier, she was trying to spread more awareness about it to help with her mom, because she was trying to find anything she could to make her mom feel better, because it was very hard on them. Dr. William Pettit was an endocrinologist and the medical director of the Joslin Diabetes Center at Connecticut Central Hospital. His wife Jennifer was a nurse and co-director of the health center at Cheshire Academy. Michelle actually wanted to take over Haley's MS walks and charities when Haley left school, so that she could continue spreading awareness to MS, because she really cared a lot. The thing about Michelle and Haley is that they were both super caring, and they did whatever they could to make others feel happy. This was partially because the way that their mom, Jennifer, raised them. She was a very nice, very loved. On the morning of July 22nd, 2007, the family had attended church. It was a normal, relaxing day, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was going great, which, of course, is how most of these cases start off as. Everything's fine until it isn't. Michelle actually wanted to cook family dinner, but they didn't have the stuff that she needed, so her mom decided to take her to the grocery store. That night after dinner, Mr. Pettit actually took a nap on the family couch in the sunroom because he was super tired. It was a long day for him. And then as he was sleeping, the girls were watching TV, you know, doing typical family things, and then they later went to bed too. Now flash backwards actually to when Michelle and her mom were at the grocery store. They were getting watched by this guy named Joshua Komisarjevecki. I'm just gonna call him Joshua, I don't know how to say his last name. Basically, Joshua had seen Michelle and her mom at the grocery store that day, and he saw the car that they were driving in, he saw their clothes, he saw their shoes, and he was jealous of them. He wanted what they had. Joshua then ended up following them home. Him and his friend Steven, who he actually met at a halfway house, had made a plan to burglarize the Pettit family home. According to Joshua, he stated that the family had a very nice house and a very nice car, and thought it would be nice to be there someday. So this guy was jealous. He was envious of them. He never knew what it was like to be on that side of the social class. He was poor. He was kind of doing contracting. He was into construction, things like that. He didn't know what the good life was in those big, luxurious houses with those nice, amazing cars. So he was jealous of them, and he wanted some of that cake. At approximately 3 a.m. on July 23rd, Joshua and Steven broke into the Pettit family home through an unlocked door in the basement. Leaning up against the stairs was actually a baseball bat, which Joshua took as he ascended up the stairs. They found Mr. Pettit asleep in the sunroom. Joshua then struck Mr. Pettit in the head with the baseball bat 4 or 5 times before dragging him down to the basement, where he tied him up with rope and zip ties. They moved upstairs, where they found Miss Pettit and the 2 girls each in their rooms. Joshua and Steven then attacked the girls, tying them all up to their bedposts with ropes and zip ties, the same way he tied Mr. Pettit downstairs. The men then searched the house, ransacking as they went, looking for any luxurious item they could find. Money, gold, jewelry, anything. They were actually disappointed because they couldn't really find anything except a check register, which indicated that the family had $40,000 in the bank. Stephen then found 2 empty gas cans, which he then took to a nearby gas station to fill up. He was later going to use them to do something very despicable. He then returned to the house and forced Jennifer to go with him to the bank. She was told she needed to withdraw $15,000 for the men. Jennifer was smart though, and had managed to inform the bank teller that the men were holding her family hostage and threatening to kill them all. The bank manager immediately called 911 while Jennifer was busy with the teller. She had informed them that Jennifer had indicated that the men were being nice and that she believed they only wanted money. The police responded, setting up a vehicle perimeter around the Patet home without revealing their presence. But actually, they didn't have an order to act like as soon as they got there, so they sat in their cars for a little bit, which I'm going to be talking about this later, but it adds to the controversy of this case. What I'm about to talk about can be kind of like triggering to some people, so I just want to say trigger warning, sexual assault. I'll put a timestamp up here for you to go to so you won't have to listen to this. Joshua entered little Michelle's bedroom where she had been tied to the bedpost. He proceeded to sexually assault her, taking photos of his acts with his cell phone at the same time. At some point her clothing was removed though and washed, as they were later examined to have bleach on them. The assault was confirmed when the medical examiners found Joshua's sperm in her body. He is just such a sick fuck. Like, I can't wrap my head how someone could even do such a thing. Like, it truly sickens me. And that's why I didn't want to include like so many details, because there were, as I was taking notes and stuff, there were more details that were like extremely graphic, and they just make me so sick and just angry, and I don't want you guys to feel the same way. So I will be like, I don't want to say sugarcoating, but I will be doing like a PG-13 situation instead of an R, because I don't really like those types of details, you know. Most people don't, so yeah. As Joshua was with the other girls in that room, Stephen was with the mom, Jennifer. He strangled her, and unfortunately her death did not stop him from sexually assaulting her. He claimed that Joshua provoked him into doing so, but he really just said that to try to get less on his sentence. I think at the time he was a 40-year-old man. He had the thought process, and he made his own decision, so that's on him. That's not on Joshua. They both did terrible things, but I just kind of want to make that clear. He could think for himself. The sound of the assault was so loud that Mr. Patet could hear it from down in the basement. He cried out and received this response from Joshua: "Don't worry, it's all going to be over in a couple of minutes." Mr. Patet had managed to free himself of his restraints. He escaped, hopping up the basement stairs into the outside of the house. "I thought, it's now or never, because in my mind at that moment, I thought they were going to shoot us all," he later said. He then crawled to a neighbor's yard for help. But get this. This guy's injuries were so bad that his own neighbors couldn't recognize him. That kind of just like tells you how driven Joshua and Stephen were. They beat this random man unrecognizable so that they could find money, jewels. Like, what's the point? Literally, if you want money, work at like Little Caesars. Joshua had discovered that Mr. Patet had escaped and rushed to tell Stephen. He finished up with Jennifer. He doused her body with the gas and then the rest of the house. They left Michelle and Haley tied to the beds and covered them in gasoline as well. Now, Michelle and Haley were still alive at this moment, but Jennifer was dead because they had strangled her. They set the entire place on fire and had fled the scene in the Patet family car. However, you know how the police were waiting outside? Well, they crashed right into a police car, head on. I honestly think that they were so stupid if they even thought like for 1 second that they were going to get away with this, because number one, this was like a high-class community. You were going to get caught either way, from the neighbors or just from like a police officer that lives next door, because I guarantee you a police officer lived in the neighborhood. This was not thought out at all. Also, the entire like invasion had lasted 7 full hours. Now just think about how much torment and pain went on in those 7 hours. By the time the firefighters arrived at the scene, the whole house was up in flames, and they were unable to save the girls. Jennifer died from strangulation, and Michelle and Haley died from smoke inhalation. Haley had actually managed to escape her restraints, but was found collapsed near the top of the stairs. Her feet were covered in 3rd and 4th degree burns. Michelle was found still tied to her bed, with her lower body hanging off. The men confessed because obviously they were at the scene of the crime, so if you're not confessing, then you're addressing it in trial, and that takes a lot of work, and they called it quits and just, you know, they confessed, and were both sentenced to death. Since then, the state of Connecticut has actually abolished the death penalty, so now both of the men's sentences were turned into life sentences. And the details of the case were so unsettling in court that the jurors were actually offered counseling to deal with any psychological or emotional trauma that they may have experienced. There is actually much controversy surrounding this case because whether or not the police did enough is a big question that gets asked when this case gets brought up, and I personally think that they didn't. The fact that they were at the scene of the crime and had just did nothing, they sat there, they were in their cars just, I don't know, eating donuts, drinking coffee, stuff that police do. I really don't think that they were like any use in this case at all. Maybe at the end when the car crashed into the police car, I guess that kind of helped, but in the end they didn't stop any of the deaths. Michelle, Haley, and Jennifer still suffered while they were sitting in the cars surrounding the area doing nothing. If the police would have acted sooner, then Michelle, Haley, and Jennifer would all still be alive. So that's what makes me really sad, is that they were there, they had the choice, they did not act on it, and that's on them. That's what they have to live with. That it's truly what's gonna keep them up at night, because they had that choice and they blew it. Did see something that like the chief of police did not give them the authority to act because they didn't know what was going on inside the house, but that is so strange to me. They needed to know what was happening in the house to go in the house, but they won't know that until they're in the house. As for Dr. Patet, he's the only survivor of this case, unfortunately. I have this quote pulled up right here from an interview in 2017 of him talking about like what it's like to be a survivor. He stated, "I am a member of a group that people don't want to be a member of, survivors of homicide. And I think many of the people in that group feel that they're not heard. Their plight is not often listened to, and they feel pushed to the side, especially as time goes by and people forget about the rawness of a particular event." He has really fought for the death penalty to come back in Connecticut because he really does believe that Joshua and Stephen deserve that instead of life, which that is a whole nother debate on its own, and I'm gonna ask you guys about that in a second. But I'm trying to put myself in his like shoes right now, which is really hard to do because, you know, I have never experienced a tragedy of that mass. Having his whole family, his whole life ripped away from him just like that, while he's tied up, pretty much helpless in the basement, nothing to do, sounds like terrible. One of my worst fears is being in a situation where people are suffering, but there's nothing I can do. And those are the worst types of situations to ever be in. And so for him to experience his whole life get like torn away from him and have the men that did it make it out alive almost feels unfair. Like, thinking from his point of view, I can see why he would want to bring the death penalty back to Connecticut for that reason. Of course, everybody has different morals and different values when it comes to like a life. Some people would say eye for an eye. Some people would say let them have a chance of rehabilitation. As for Dr. Patet, I can see where he was coming from. He has now actually managed to build a new life and has started a political career in his hometown of Plainville. He has actually established this foundation in honor of his deceased wife and daughters that has given away millions to charity. So that is so amazing, and that is really phenomenal of him to do. That's about it for this case. So now I want to ask you guys a couple questions. I want you guys to leave your comments and answers down below so I know your take on this. But I really want to know, did you guys think that the police did enough? Because I don't think they did. And I also want to know if you guys think that it was fair that Joshua and Stephen now are sentenced to life instead of the death penalty. Just leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Just start a discussion. Talk about it. I'm open for any opinions and point of views on anything I just asked. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. This was new for me. This was like my first time doing a video where I kind of had notes and I was kind of like doing research. I found it kind of fun because, like I said earlier, I love true crime, so I might be doing more videos like this hopefully soon. Maybe once a week, but don't take my word on that because shit, y'all saw what happened today with my audio issues and then my camera dying and then my card was just full, so I had to stop recording for a little bit. So, you know, I'll just be posting sporadically and whatever content I feel like making. I really hope you guys liked this video, and leave a like I said, comment down below, and thanks for watching.